Okay, we're back. It's part four. We're doing a low-key painting, a nice country scene with some barns and interesting figures, doing some work around the farm. We are just having a great time here. We're practicing our technique of painting a low-key painting. If you haven't seen the first couple parts, please go back, check them out. We talk about the different keys in a painting. Some paintings are high key, middle. Some paintings are middle key, and some paintings are low key. So here we went for a low key look, which is lots of darker tonal values with just some smaller sections of brighter or lighter tonal values. So on this painting, we're on our second glazing. Our first glazing was just the blue for the sky, and we just covered the whole paper with light blue with some cobalt blue, French ultramarine blue, and a little bit of cerulean blue. Then what we did was we got the we started to get in our darkest darks here and our dark to middle tones through the painting. Um, and so now we're kind of working towards getting the rest of the painting pretty solid. So um, the last thing we'll do is probably put in the darker darks in this section here. So the first thing we have to do is get the middle and middle tones through these barns and houses here, these country houses. So again, we're going to be using the same colors we've been using all along. So we haven't really um, departed from the main colors we're using, which was we were using the cadmium red, a little bit of alizarin crimson, but mostly cadmium red for our warm colors, along with yellow ochre. And then for our cooler tones and the trees, we did the tones of we did them in the olive green and sap green, mixed with some burnt umber and some going back into the yellow ochres. So we pretty much have stuck with the same colors, so we're not going to depart from those colors. We want to stick with the same colors throughout the painting to get a nice harmony of colors. We wouldn't start going in and painting these buildings in something that's very different than what we've been using, as well as we're trying to keep this painting warm. So we said this was going to be a low-key painting, and then along the way we also just wanted to keep this painting a warm painting, which is lots of warmer colors, the reds, the golds, um, and then we'll have a beautiful, pleasing effect of a nice warm feel, maybe a sunrise in the countryside in a nice warm day, summertime. Um, could be the sunset too as well. But just a nice, beautiful feel of warmth and low light. So the sky is maybe early morning or late evening. So here we're going to go back in. We'll pick up some. We'll go back in and do some yellow ochre and some cadmium red, a little bit of cadmium orange. And we're going to start. And again, we hold the brush up high, so we have a nice rinse off the brush a little, tap on the sponge, go over here. And here let's try to change the colors, modulate the colors just a little bit. Maybe I'll go in with a little bit of alizarin crimson here. Back to the yellow ochre. Again, a nice. Once you have your drawing pretty much in place, You can feel free to be more loose with your brush and hold it up higher and just sort of, put on the brush strokes carefree and have fun with it. Again, I'm changing the colors here. I'm trying to modulate the colors so that it doesn't look like I'm just blocking in a whole section with the same color. So that's important to remember that, to try to modulate your colors a little bit, keep them changing. And then we'll go into some burnt umber. Some burnt umber with just a touch of French ultramarine blue just to darken it up a little bit. And we'll get that roof there. Now this is, we're going to come back um, and do another part because it's really important to let your washes dry. And I say that because when you start to try to um, block in your colors for the different parts of these buildings, like the roof, so you have a roof here, and then you have, I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You've been seeing me with the paints. Sorry about the camera moving around here. So here we're zoomed in a little bit, but you can see here there's a roof, then there's the wall here, and then there's the roof up here. So there's like two roofs and a wall. So to get these sections sort of separate, sometimes we need to let this dry a little bit. So I'm letting these mingle, the paints here, and we might have to let this dry to get the rest of the paint on here underneath the under the roof. So this is sort of like a shed roof with a wall over here, and then there's a underneath section where there's a door. So what I'm saying is there's different changes in color here and tonal values. So sometimes you really should let the paper dry a little bit before you start going in. Otherwise things get they blend too quickly, and it doesn't let you sort of keep good shapes as far as what your composition is. So if you have a roof here, and a wall, you might have to let some things dry, like maybe let the wall and the roof dry and then come back and do your shed roof when it's dry. This way you get that nice crisp line across there for your shed roof. So the fun part about watercolor is you can work and let things develop as they do, and then you can always take a break and let things dry a little bit and then go back. I guess what I'm trying to say is when you feel like a section needs to dry a little bit, let it dry. You can move over to another section maybe and then come back to a different section, versus totally taking a full break and just walking away for an hour. Let's try to we're going to try to move around the painting and work around the painting a little bit to try to let things dry as we go. So we'll try that approach. So I'm going to zoom back out again. But I think we're still going to need another part, I think, to get everything good. All right, there we go. Okay. Here I have some really dark darks. Here's some really, really darks. And this is basically the underside of a barn area where there's like an open area where there's no building, but just Here I'm choking up on the brush a little bit. This is a little more detailed here, so I'm going to try to get a little more okay, that looks pretty good. And now's a good time. I'm trying to, let's go with a smaller brush. Okay, I think I can zoom in here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is zoom in, get a little more focused on the painting and the final details. Okay, we still have the palette there. All right, good. So we're going to get into the darker darks here. So here I'm doing the doorways. I'm using burnt umber, French ultramarine blue, two really dark tonal values as far as the paint goes. It's really, those are two really nice and a little bit of burnt sienna. Okay, so we got the two doorways in and some and you can just, with your fingernail, or you can use like a small tip of the brush or something. You can just scratch out a few things here and there once in a while just to make things look a little interesting there. Okay, and then I'll go back to my mop brush here, small mop. I think it's a number zero mop, and we'll go back and get into some of the okay, so we're really having a good finished result here as we're coming up to the completion of the painting, and it's been a lot of parts, but we're really here. We're going to do some detail work on this roof, some cadmium red. And we'll go in and add a little more variety into this. We'll make some different marks in here too as well on this roof section here, just to keep it a little more interesting. We'll go this. We'll do a nice. Okay. And this here. Okay, and this is a trailer over here on the right, a red trailer, and we'll put some details on that, some lines for the slats. So it's like a wood trailer with wood. All right, so we'll come back to finish up because we do have a little more work. We want to do the telephone pole and some more details in the foreground, some fences and stuff. So, okay, let's come back and we'll finish up. See you on the next video.